Good evening and welcome to Give Me a Break. I'm Jonathan Carmody. It's another case of teachers getting fired. It's not like last time we talked about a teacher who was fired because of something else. Now we're talking about a teacher who was fired after verbally assaulting fourth graders. Lazy bums, and there was also a racial slur. And we've also focused on a teacher who was suspended for using the N-word, racial remarks. By now the teacher's fired. This subject teacher was fired. Take a look at this story from Jacqueline Lambert.
A substitute employed through Kelly Services can no longer work at Dothan City Schools. This is according to parent Candace Wells.
Initially picking him up, you're expecting the same thing. How's your day? What happened? Anything interesting?
For Wells, it was not an ordinary day. She says the sub verbally abused her son Chase and other students Thursday morning.
But to hear what happened, it's a gut punch. You don't bring your child to school for 8 hours to be abused by anybody.
The substitute is alleged to have referred to Chase and his classmates as lazy bums and called them other curse words, including a racial slur.
And to use the hard R word, that right there for him was the biggest trigger. Because it was like, I was called that. We were called that in class. His peers, they were also upset.
School administration became aware of the incident and made a report after another teacher spoke to Chase and he informed them about it.
I was enraged to hear that you're upset because somebody talked about your shoes.
Wells eventually confronted the substitute about the incident, who denied the accusations and pointed to an incident that happened with a student not in the class.
To hear her explanation and her own words were, kids lie, I've been lied on before. This isn't the first time, it won't be the last.
The day after, Wells went to the central office where she learned the substitute would no longer be contracted for Dothan City Schools.
And they took immediate action and letting me know immediately, I think this was by 9 a.m., that she would no longer be employed with us. I honestly think that there needs to be more screening done to these teachers and to these subs before they're put in the school with our babies.
Candace says she hopes this incident encourages parents to ask more questions and advocate for their children. Kinsley?
Jacqueline Lambert, thank you. In a statement to News 4, DCS did not offer any comment on this incident, but they did say, quote, any conduct that diminishes a positive learning environment inside any of our district schools is always dealt with in accordance with established school board policy.
And school board policy would say you're not supposed to talk to teachers like that. Verbal abuse. It's called verbal abuse for a reason, but not everybody understands verbal abuse because, you can just sit there and just, get away with calling somebody a racial slur. And then just be on your, and then just get yourself getting away with. I want you to take a look at another story about a teacher who was fired for doing the Harlem Shake.
Students.
Take a look at this story.
DeKalb County teacher has danced his way into some trouble. As Channel 2's Erica Byfield explains, he took part in the viral craze called the Harlem Shake, and he's now paying for it.
We found the video on YouTube. A district spokesperson declined to give us too much information, but she did confirm that the video involves a teacher from Lithonia High School and several students. The video starts with the DeKalb County student jumping on a classroom table and then dancing around. It's in the moments that follow that everyone joins in on the Harlem Shake.
That really shouldn't go on in a school building, not all of that, anyway.
Almost everyone we showed the video to had the same reaction about 15 seconds in.
Where's the teacher?
About 30 seconds later, we see the teacher in a brown suede suit jacket flailing around. We learn his name is Barry Browner. A DeKalb County School District spokesperson told us, along with teaching, he's the Bulldogs basketball coach. The spokesperson did not want to say how old the kids are or what class they were in. Only that Mr. Browner was disciplined.
I think that's a little extra for him to be disciplined for
enjoying a day with the students, really, because that was nothing. It caused no harm. No one got hurt.
We have a classroom setting. We have a bunch of students acting like savages, dancing on top of the desk, and we have the teacher acknowledging that and participating in it. I think the problem is people overreact to everything. It's too much overreaction. I mean, I think DeKalb County got more problem to worry about than kids dancing in the classroom. It's the teacher's responsibility to maintain order in the classroom. He has to lead by example, and he wasn't leading by example.
Again, the teacher was disciplined, but the students were not. In DeKalb County, Erica Byfield, Channel 2 Action News.
The teacher was disciplined because of what happened? Okay. There's things I want to say here, It should be the child's fault. The child started it. The teacher should have been disciplined. The kids should be disciplined, not the children.
A substitute teacher was...
Sorry. Not the children. The kids should be disciplined, not the teacher. Write them up. Tell them to leave the video. If you leave the video, you're going to be written up. If you leave it, okay, we're going to write you up. That's what really ticks me off. Alright. What's Project Baltimore's latest move? We're going to find out. Well, there's a surge in student listing where whereabouts are unknown, and we're going to tell you that next. Stay with us. Welcome back. Whereabouts unknown. Momentum is going to change the formula for how Maryland public schools are funded. And after years of Fox 45 reporting to how millions of your tax dollars are going to educate students who are not in school, questions are being raised. What the hell is going on with the state of Maryland? The state's probably not going to get involved, but what else is going on when it comes to the citizens of Maryland spending your tax dollars? It's probably like having a freelo while you're just sitting down on your ass having a bag of chips, right? Well, apparently that $10,000 is gone. Thanks to all the spending that the school does. Here's Chris Papps.
Do you think this time will be different?
I do.
Maryland State Delegate April Rose is hoping the fourth time
Yes.
is a charm. During the legislative sessions in Annapolis in 2022, 2023, and 2024,
The goal of this bill is to ensure that there's an accurate count of students.
Rose introduced legislation to change how Maryland public schools are funded. Her intent was to safeguard tens of millions of taxpayer dollars from going to schools to educate students who are not in class. But all three times, the legislation failed.
It's got zero traction.
But Rose feels the upcoming 2026 legislative session may yield a different result.
People should care because it's our tax money. It's our tax money that we're paying every year to fund education.
Under current state law, public school funding is based on the number of students enrolled on one day, September 30th. That one-day count determines most of the funding a school receives the following year. Rose says in January, for a fourth time, she will introduce legislation to change Maryland's one-day enrollment count, this time to a two-day count, once in September and once in the spring. School funding would be determined by the average of the two counts. Her legislation is called the Education Funding Accuracy Act.
We need to do it in a way that's smart and fiscally responsible, and I think this is a good start.
Rose first introduced her bill in 2022, following a series of Project Baltimore reports into students who were labeled whereabouts unknown. In 2019, according to the Maryland State Department of Education, there were more than 6,100 instances of students whose whereabouts were unknown. Rose plans to reintroduce her bill again this year because Fox 45 found in 2024 that number has nearly doubled. This means, according to the state, there were almost 11,000 instances where students went missing and could not be located by the school. And most of those students were funded by taxpayers.
More calls for an investigation into how Maryland public schools are funded.
Project Baltimore, for years, has been reporting on how millions of tax dollars have gone to public schools to educate students whose whereabouts were unknown. But state education leaders have shown little interest in addressing the concerns. Until now.
You have spoken to the president of the State Board of Education.
Yes. Yes, you've brought a lot of attention to this issue, and I think it's finally caught the attention of people.
Project Baltimore in September broke the news that in 2024, based on the Maryland State Department of Education funding formula, taxpayers gave an estimated $168 million to schools to educate students who could not be located. That report caught the attention of Dr. Joshua Michael, the president of the Maryland State Board of Education.
Certainly we want to learn more. It is a notable trend, and I'm really glad you're asking the question.
They are willing to talk about making some changes because they do acknowledge that there is a problem.
Opponents of counting enrollment multiple times a year, such as the teachers union, have said it overcomplicates a data snapshot that is intended to ensure adequate funding for schools. But now, with Dr. Michael's involvement, Rose feels 2026 may be the year her bill finally passes.
Isn't that insane to just keep doing the exact same thing and have the problem get worse and worse and worse? We've got to do something.
Rose also plans to add an accountability measure to her bill, where the Maryland State Department of Education would have to report back to the legislature following the second enrollment count regarding how it has impacted school funding. Project Baltimore will follow Rose's bill starting in January as it makes its way through the legislature. I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.
Okay, here's where things stand here. Okay, it's our tax dollars that we're giving it. We're giving it to the schools. They're spending it, and it goes to the bureaucracy. It's the blob. That's just what it is. It's the blob. And now one person will stand back and say, hey, we're spending too much money. And we feel it's in our best interest if we cut back in our spending. That way, then what they can do, look at this and say, hey, we've got to cut back. Make some cutbacks. And if you make those cutbacks, maybe then you'll get to save some money and help out the kids. When have we ever raised some common sense? Next, we're going to hear from military dad who smacked the school board upside the head with some common sense. You'll hear what he had to say when Game Break continues. Stay with us. There's nothing like going to a school board meeting and then saying, I want to address some issues. Where's the common sense when it comes to these school districts not spending a lot of money? Well, back in September 2023, this father decided to smack the school board with common sense. What was the common sense? Well, take a look at this.
Good evening, everybody. My name is George Gonzalez. I have two children that are attending currently the Redlands School District. I've been a military service member for 24 years now, currently still serving. I've also owned and operated an automotive repair shop in San Bernardino. And if I can use an analogy real quick, it's pretty fair to say, or an assumption, that most people here own a car. And if you were to bring your vehicle to me for a tune-up, a service, a tire rotation or whatnot, you entrust your vehicle while you leave it and it's in my care. You would hope that while your vehicle's in my care, that I'm not doing anything illegal with your vehicle, anything unscrupulous with your vehicle, that I'm not loaning it to drug dealers to mule a couple tons of cocaine up and down the coast or across the border. I'm sure you would be pretty upset if you got a call from the police department saying, hey, we have recovered your vehicle over the Tijuana border with 10 keys of cocaine, or smuggling children across the border, or whatnot. So from a standpoint of the parent's right to know, I'm not here personally to argue whose rights I want to infringe on or have my rights infringe on. I just feel as a parent, it is my absolute right to know everything that involves my children, you know. So with that said, like I said, whatever policies the district wants to impose on the school system and the children and whatnot, all I'm asking as a parent is give me the respect to tell me, hey, if your child wants to sexually transition into a different gender, we're gonna support it. And then me as a parent, I have the right to take my children out of your school district and into one that is not doing something like that. You know, and again, I know that the young lady spoke earlier and said that it seems like, I think she mentioned that children don't feel safe at home to be able to open up to their parents and to bring these type of things. As a parent, it's our responsibility to mentor and guide our children to be the better human beings that we are, or better persons that we are, right? I have a 3-year-old who runs up and down my house all day screaming that he's a T-Rex. If he tells me tomorrow that he wants me to cut his arms off and give him the little nubs as a T-Rex does, is it pretty safe to say that I'm kind of an idiot if I want to go start cutting his hands off? Children don't know what they want. I can say the same thing for my 11-year-old who wants to explore different stuff. He wants to start drinking because he sees us drinking on TV. Do we just start condoning and giving him alcohol because his identity is now to be an alcoholic like he sees on the movies, on the video games? Should we hand 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds that are playing video games, Call of Duty, should we hand them guns because that's what they identify as warriors? We have to have a limit as parents, and it's our responsibility to coach and mentor these children. All we're asking is that you give us the right for us to choose if we want to partake in something like that. Thank you.
Now there's some common sense. Now there's some common sense for you. You know, every parent has the right to know the rules of the school district. But let's look at another board meeting back 2 months ago.
Anyone with children that doesn't want their kids to learn interesting new words, get the fuck out.
Whoa.
First, a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, who was killed by leftist guerrilla terrorists in Utah. And then secondly, any of you transgender people, don't shoot. No one would care if I got shot anyway, so you're just wasting a bullet. Save your 17 cents. Anyhow, my name is actually Ray Gallagher. I identify as Ray Gallagher. It's mostly because my friends think that I'm a stupid, overbearing cunt. But anyhow, last time I came here to speak, I wasn't allowed to speak because some other stupid, overbearing cunt shares the exact same name of Ray Gallagher with me.
Yeah.
I fucking warned you, bitch. I said get the fuck out. If you don't like cuss words, it's free speech. I'm going to continue with my speech, lady.
Can you stop the clock? Stop the clock.
Go ahead.
No, you're not.
Go ahead, punch me.
All right.
Do what you want.
Mr. Porter
no.
and ma'am,
I am demanding you control this woman.
It is his time. Please sit.
Free speech, lady. Go back.
All right, Mr. Porter. Mr. Porter.
You got a sign that says stop bullying, and then you're bullying the speaker.
Mr. Porter. Mr. Porter.
There's nothing that can make me look worse, lady. I pull my pants down in public. Did you see her storm out and slam the door?
Mr. Porter, your time has been paused. I'm going to respectfully ask you, as we have children in the audience. I'm just asking.
Fuck them. I told them they could leave. Fuck them.
Okay. Your time is going to restart.
Fuck them.
This has been my ask of you. That
you can ask whatever the fuck you want.
You
and
are
I'm going to
correct.
deny your request. Like you denied me the ability to speak at the last meeting because we happen to share the exact same name.
You can restart his time. Your time is going. It is yours.
So I signed up, there's proof that I signed up, and you didn't allow me to speak. You denied me my right to my First Amendment, right to redress of grievances, my right to petition the government for redress of grievances, my right to say exactly what was on my mind, because you didn't like the way that I signed up, but I did sign up. It's on video, it's witnessed, and then you denied me because you didn't like my viewpoint, because my viewpoint is opposite of what your viewpoint is, which is hippy-dippy transgender shit is okay. So you denied me my right to speak last time, so this time I'm pissed off. So you're getting the pissed off version of my speech. You would have got a much better speech if you had just let me speak last time, but instead you wanted to take this shit to federal court and try and say that you have the right, as the president of this governing body, to actually deny people their access to this podium to speak and deny them their equal rights to free speech under the 14th Amendment and the First Amendment. So long story short, I don't like you, I don't like any of your people. You guys are in an echo chamber. You bring in these left-wing nut jobs with weird blue hair and shit, and you think that that's the voters and the electorate that you're representing. It's not. You've got duly elected conservative board members here that you treat like shit. You ignore conservative people, and now I find out you want to reduce talking time from 3 minutes to 2 minutes. You want to ask for identification and driver's license for people to come in and speak. That seems ridiculous. It seems like a Fourth Amendment violation, but what you're going to find if you do pass that is that the people who you don't like are going to continue to come and they're going to provide ID. The people that you have coming from Montgomery County to speak on behalf of transgender stuff, they're not going to be able to come because the transgender people that you have here, a lot of them come from Montgomery County, and they're just nothing more than agitators and activists that come up here to protest and to try to destroy the free speech of conservative parents in the county. So I'm just here to further reiterate that I don't like you, that I identify as Ray Gallagher. You did not allow me to speak last time, so this time I am turning your entire board meeting into a shit show full of curse words and transphobic stuff. Like, trans people go on mass shootings more than regular people do. But trans... What are you talking about?
No, all right.
Trans women or trans men?
Trannies,
transvestites.
All right, Mr. Porter, your time is up.
Transvestites go on mass shootings more than normal people. That's
the audience will not engage.
Charlie
Mr. Porter
Kirk was not killed by a normal straight man. He was killed by a weirdo gay dude who was fucking a tranny. That's who killed Charlie Kirk, just like you freaks in the audience.
Mr. Porter, you may sit down or you may leave. Your time is up.
Oh, my time
Your
is up?
time is up and your time was up. You may sit down or you may leave.
I'm going to sit down.
Thank you.
Nice to see you again, Ray. I'll see you in the next meeting. And you're not going to succeed at depriving people of free speech in this county. You'll lose your next election.
The next speaker is Akshara Kadimchira, followed by Sam Rosenblum.
School board meetings can be heated and debated, but when it comes to, when it comes to, wanting to get your own way, there are things you can't say. Take a look at this one. Take a look at this one from 4 years ago.
They call me when the sawdust settles and the engine finally roars.
When you talk about critical race theory, which is pretty much going to be teaching kids how to hate each other, how to dislike each other, that's pretty much all it's pretty much what it's going to all come down to. You're going to deliberately teach kids, this white kid right here got it better than you because he's white? You're going to purposely tell a white kid, oh, the black people are all down and suppressed. How do I have 2 medical degrees if I'm sitting here oppressed? How do I get, first of all, we only got 5 minutes now, 5 minutes. 2 medical degrees. No mom, no dad in the house. Worked my way through college. Sat there and hustled my butt off to get through college. You gonna tell me somebody that looks like all y'all white folks kept me from doing that? Are you serious? What's sickening about this whole thing is what y'all doing right now is already something I do in my community right now to speak out against stuff because black folks are getting told by other black folks, oh, you know you ain't gonna be able to do nothing out there in the world because them white folks ain't gonna let you get no, oh, you know you're not gonna be able to do it here because the white man gonna keep you down. Well, how did I get where I am right now if some white man kept me down? How am I now directing over folks that look just like you guys in this room right now? How? What kept me down? What oppressed me? I worked for myself from off the streets to where I am right now. You gonna sit here and tell me this lie of critical race theory? This the reason why black folks can't get ahead because of white folks? Are you kidding me? This is what we come to now. I can't believe we even talking about this right now. The last thing we're gonna say right here is something that's crazy. Martin Luther King said he wanted his kids to grow up in a world where they are judged by the contents of their what? Their character, not their skin. If they let this stuff go on right now, it is absolutely doing the complete reverse of what he's doing. So when February comes, don't talk about Martin Luther King. When February comes, don't talk about black history. Mother y'all gonna sit there and just be pee on this grave with this nonsense. That's exactly what's about to happen. When it all comes down to it, the person that's gonna be suffering from this, the one's gonna be hurt from this, is the kids. 10 years from now, if this stuff goes on, whose fault is it gonna be? Whose fault is it gonna be? Who we gonna look back on and blame for this? Because this is stuff we talking about right now. This stuff is going on right now. I do this stuff on a daily basis. I'm in the hood. I'm in the communities. I'm out there with folks in their face. I've been doing this stuff since I was 18 years old, talking to black folks. And you know what? None of them are buying this nonsense. None of them are. But if you want to implement this into the school system, I guarantee you to the day that I die, I'm going to be the very person right there debunking stuff, tearing stuff down, letting them know they can do exactly what I did and get exactly where I am by putting themselves to work and getting there. And ain't not one white person ever going to keep any of them from getting there. So the CRT stuff, BS.
Wow. Next, more heated school board debates. There's one more confrontation. Imagine being a father, being concerned about your disabled and deaf son. Find out he was enrolled into a class where there was disruptive kids and kids that were just beating on and bullying him. Last year this father went up to the board, furious, at the Washington County School Board. In Washington County, Sean Porter erupts during the school board meeting. And the room nearly evaporated because of what happened. So let's take a look.
Let me know when your timer started.
Good evening, Mr. Porter.
Okay, so now that you're done jerking each other off with a bunch of trophies and participation certificates, here's the truth. You guys don't care about the disabled kids because my disabled son was deaf. You put him in with a bunch of disruptive kids. Okay, bad kids at Besser Elementary. There was no sign language interpreter, no instruction for sign language. We applied to Maryland School for the Deaf. He was accepted in December. He was supposed to be transferred in January. Dr. Annette Walters refused to sign the Board of Education form to transfer him to Maryland School for the Deaf. January, February, March, April, mid-April, I came in screaming about civil rights lawsuits and everything else, and then they immediately processed the transfer. In May, 5 months late, he was transferred to a place where they could teach him sign language, where he was around other deaf and disabled children with similar abilities as him, so that he could have a normal life and actually communicate with kids and not get into fights every single day. He came home crying from Besser Elementary School every single day he went there because he got into fights with kids who didn't understand him because he was deaf. He couldn't talk, he couldn't sign, he didn't know anything. We were doing the best that we could, but you guys left him there. No child left behind. You people sit up here, waste millions of dollars, hire people with fake names like this Steve Edwards guy who's using a stage name to conduct official business, which in the state of Maryland, if he's signing contracts and legal documents, I believe is the crime of uttering, which is a felony. But you decide to leave my disabled son in with a bunch of bad kids at Besser Elementary to get his kicked on a daily basis because you didn't want to give up the funding you get from state, federal, and local. Okay, you didn't want to give up money, so you didn't allow him to get transferred until I came in and went psychotic in your lobby. And then you did. So everything that over there said about how great you are caring about kids is an absolute lie, Ms. Williams. You should step down. You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace. I already know about you. You're a civil rights violator. You've been sued repeatedly. You're a disgrace, and you're a disgrace.
Mr. Porter.
You will not interrupt my time, ma'am. I have a First Amendment right to tell you my opinions. This is the right to redress of grievances in your face, Ms. Williams.
We appreciate your participation in the meeting, and while I encourage you to address the Board of Education, I will give you time.
You worthless fucking cunt.
Okay.
You tortured my disabled son, and you will answer for it in a court of law.
I recommend that we go into closed session
I'm not at 5 minutes,
to
lady.
obtain legal advice pursuant to the general provisions article of the Annotated Code of Maryland.
You're silencing my free speech during my... I signed up 2 weeks ago to talk, and you're silencing my free speech.
Please, and a second to move. Thank you, Mrs. Murray. Is there a second?
You guys are going to silence my free speech because you don't like what I'm saying. That's viewpoint
Mr.
discrimination.
Porter, while I appreciate your participation,
No, you don't.
would you please refrain from using profanity in your comments?
First Amendment, freedom of speech, that's my opinion of your job. You're doing a shitty job. You're an office god. You're a very disrespectful person to that lady today, and a week ago to Darrell Evans. I watched you condescend a fellow board member like he was a 2-year-old. You chastised him for disagreeing with you. Lady, you know everything that's wrong with the bureaucracy that's here in this building. Downsville Pike is a disgrace. The teachers are doing a great job in this county, like the people that got the awards. But people like you hamstring their abilities to teach children like mine. You're a f***ing disgrace. F*** you. Have a good day.
Damn.
Our next speaker is Robin Spickler. Mrs. Spickler?
Become a versatile and in-demand asset in the workforce with the University of Florida's College of Pharmacy Forensic Science.
Here's common sense. You're welcome to complain to the school board all you want. Yell and scream. Threaten with lawsuits. That doesn't mean you go up to the board and say, "Fuck you, you fucking cunt, you fucking bitch, you motherfucking fucking bitch. You motherfucking fucking witch bitch. You wench bitch motherfucker." Look, an educational environment is an educational environment. That doesn't mean you start cursing out people. And saying, well, fuck you, fuck this, fuck that, fuck that. No. You don't do that. You gotta say to yourself, if I'm gonna be, I'm pissed about what the school board did to my child, I'm gonna go up there and be angry about it, but I will not use profanity. I will replace words with the F word for heck. Buns for ass for buns. No child left behind my buns. Heck you, you're a stitch. No, I want to say something that rhymes with the B word. You disgrace. I would call her a nincompoop. I would call her a nincompoop. I would call her a disgrace. A dishonorment. A bully. Keep it clean. If you're going to be angry about something, keep it clean. Good. Here's a bonus one from 2 years ago.
Hello, Navarro. Suck any good lately. What's wrong, Navarro? I think you like a big in your mouth. Ha ha ha. Page 23. The other boy. Here it is. What's the educational benefit of talking about What's the educational benefit of talking about that? Is that going to help someone on the SAT score? Here we come. Get a shot of that. She can care less. That's a sign. She needs to put down her sign. For a second. Oh, you're putting me out. For what? For asking you to abide by the rules. A board member held up a sign, but the audience couldn't hold up signs. This is tyranny, and we're dealing with a corrupt government system.
This was all about a book. A book.
You call me a white.
Hello.
Your language is inappropriate. It's in the library. I mean, it was all about a book about sex. You know? Here's the thing, though. You can't have that happening. Books in the libraries need to be appropriate for the children. What if your child came home one day and was reading a book? Hey Ryan, what you reading? A sex book? I'm recreating the scene from that comic. Harry Potter was a devil. But you get up them stairs. You want to tell me who Harry is? He's Will? But what's going on in his house? Here's word to the box. Hello, Nevada's sucking any good dicks lately. But this was all about a book. A book. Take a look at this. This is muted. What's wrong, Nevada? I think you're like a big sausage in your mouth. Language is inappropriate. It's in the library. And kids are checking it out. And the schools are like, we don't care. You don't care? We don't want to have members sitting up on a board saying, let's put sex books in our library. You know, the parents should teach their kids about sex. Schools have the parents sign papers saying, you know, you give them permission to learn about sex, or you don't. No one does it, you send them off to the library, you send them to the cafeteria, or you send them home. Just that simple. They want to learn about sex. Remember the episode of King of the Hill? Episode 2? Hank didn't want Bobby to learn about sex. To go up with the permission slip, but he changed his mind and signed that permission slip. It's in the book. And even then, look at this, from 3 years ago. This was from Blaze TV. Of a concerned parent reading aloud a disgusting book from a library. Take a look.
So you guys probably are aware that TPS and Mustang schools are going through some accreditation problems via HB 1775. You guys are going to have the same issue if you don't clean it up. And I'm going to find it, and I've got some connections that I've made over the last couple of years battling you guys that I'll bring that to bear. These books. This is in 2 elementary schools. It Feels Good to Be Yourself, a book about gender identity. Sanger and Will Rogers teaches the kids that the doctor is merely guessing whether it's a boy or a girl. That's a millstone offense. Explicit child rape, child molestation. Do these have academic value? You guys are going to have to answer that question. And it shouldn't take a form. If I send an email to a man who's in charge of protecting the innocence of our children, and the response is fill out a form, I would consider that a millstone offense. There's a rape of a 10-year-old girl, graphic, in this book. It's heartbreaking. By no means should there be a ban on books. Don't mistake what I'm saying for that. There ought to be academic books in the school libraries. And this problem, I never imagined it would be at my alma mater. I went from 4th grade up to Stillwater Public Schools. I'm an alum. And we have books after book after book after book. This is the junior high. This book contains sexually explicit assault and battery. I hesitate to read it. I don't feel comfortable reading it to adults. 13-year-olds can check this book out. And you guys have bought it for them and provided it for them. And it needs to be corrected ASAP. Are you going to eat her? Yeah, Earl, I'm going to eat her. Do you even know how to eat? No, not really. Papa Gaines never sat you down and said, son, one day you're going to have to eat.
Oh, God.
No. But he taught me how to eat a.
Whoa.
Yep. I would teach you some technique, but it's a little complicated. Son, I don't have time for that. I got 20 over here I need to eat. Is that right? I'm on a deadline. It goes on and on and on and on and on and on. There are 79 in this book. 79. 51 shits, 11 dicks, 15 and 9 goddams, and the list goes on. And you guys need to fix it.
Whoa.
Thank you.
No.
If you enjoyed this video,
Whoa. Parents have a right to take a stand. Also, my irony is they would bleep this video to put on YouTube, but the words he's reading are available to children in their school library. No school, like, let's put pornography in our schools. What's that gonna teach the kids? I mean, oh, you looking at porn? You're arrested. You're reading a book about porn? You're going to juvie. You're reading, oh, you want to learn more about porn? We'll scare you straight, motherfucker. Motherfucker. Cuff him. We'll rape him. No child should ever check out a book about pornography or even read about pornography. It may be in these bookstores, but it could be at your school if you don't take a stand. If it's at your school right now, do me a favor, take a motherfucking stand. And the worst part about this, the board never looked shocked at. Like someone looked like they were bored. It's like, when is this guy gonna stop? I gotta go home and have sex. I gotta go home and watch the game. I gotta go to my church. Shut the fuck up. If you don't like being a school member, resign, bitch. That's all I'm gonna say. As a parent, you've got to protect your children. Break time, back in a moment. You want more of these pornography school board meetings? Well, there is more. 2 years ago, this mom went before the school board and read a book out of the library, which was pornography. Over 1,000 comments and 330,000 views. Take a look. And this is explicit. I should warn you.
I'll be talking about that. No, it's just for you, Mr. Kelly. They've all received all of those copies before, and they don't care about them. They're still in our schools, so I thought I'd give you the opportunity. I wanted to talk about the gross books that are in our schools. So I'm going to read a couple excerpts. One of them is Push. This book is at Orangewood High School. On page 127, it says, "My clit swell up. Think, Daddy. Daddy, still he sex me up. He pumped my out in, and I come."
Candy?
Yes?
Pause your time, please.
This is in your school at Orangewood.
I understand that. I just want to make you aware that, and that is fine when a parent checks out that book, or a child checks out that book with their parents approval. However, that's a family decision. There are students in this room, and I just want to make you aware. If you're going to proceed this way, fine. But I just want to make you aware that we do have students in this room.
They're in high school, right?
Yes. Okay, somewhere in
Does
middle.
anyone want any kids in middle school want to step out?
I'm not gonna ask them to step out. They have every right to be here just as well.
Okay. So
you
I didn't know
proceed.
there were middle schoolers in this audience, so I apologize. It's not appropriate. But you know, back when you interrupted my speech last time for the word ASS, you know, it's not appropriate for adults, but you guys think that this is appropriate for children. I think we all know that the garbage in our schools is not appropriate. Now, Dr. Broom has filled out 4 of those reviews. Those 8-step processes that you guys kept hiding behind, saying nothing will happen until you do the 8-step process. Well, he did it, and he took his time, and no one has done anything about it. You guys have pornography in our schools that you can't even bear listening to. We don't want to listen to it, and I don't even want to say it, but when I emailed it to you to read it, you won't read it because it's disgusting, and it should not be available for our high schoolers to read. Thank you.
Thank you.
According to CBS reports, Redland school administrators repeatedly dismissed claims of sexual abuse, failed to report allegations to authorities, and even pressured some alleged.
And then take a look at this one.
Privately messaged
Sexual abuse.
The documentary concluded that RUSD had not learned their lesson. And as such, as evidenced by, I've had many parents and teachers privately message me about this with their own ongoing stories. Why do the kids at RHS football call RHS football coach Glass a pervert? Why are the students saying he was caught with child porn on his computer and that he grabbed a female student's ass? They say he made only the girls turn around during squats.
Candy, I'm sorry, but the language.
Can you stop the clock if you're going to interrupt me?
I'm sorry. The language is off.
Okay.
Sorry, I understand, but the language.
Okay, thank you. They say he made only the girls turn around during squats to stare at them from behind. Now, I don't know why he's on leave or why he mysteriously was removed from their website, but I do know that the school has still not informed the parents of his departure. You work for us, yet you ignore the issues we all request you address. 8 of us parents walked down to the district office and politely requested to speak with the superintendent. What did you do? You immediately called the Redlands PD, the sheriff, San Bernardino County Sheriff, the school safety officer. How dare you waste 3 valuable resources on a group of pleasant, law-abiding parents who pose absolutely no threat to you, and we never have. We have questions and waited nearly an hour for everybody to come speak with us. You all ran and hid like cockroaches. What brings me to mind the Rev Principal Clary, who's now apparently vanished into thin air. Who's the new principal on campus now? Who is she? What's her name? Why haven't we been notified? You'll spam the hell out of us for digital storytelling, but when it comes to important issues, you're silent. Your current measures are worthless, as evidenced by the fact that they're not working. Everyone here can all agree on one thing, that we all want the best for our kids. And if your staff doesn't so much as lay a hand on one of my girls, I promise you, as God is my witness, it will not end well.
Thank you.
Whoa. Alright, we're gonna look at these. Okay. When we come back, look at the comments. And I'll wrap it up. Stay with us. I don't see a rude person. I see a mom wanting to protect the children. She is so ready to call these hypocrites out. What an utter hypocrisy from this war. She's a hero. Those war brothers are despicable. It's okay if a child checks that book out, but you can't read it on the school board meeting. We will allow these books in the school, but you won't say in our meeting. There's children here. You can't read the books we give them. It's insanity. That's a family decision. What does the school administrator have to even hear herself? WTF. We need more mothers like this parent. Our job is to generate our kids. How dare you read that? Degeneracy to us. Being normal is now a crime. And they banned Dr. Seuss. These people need to be fired and jailed. Make this on the school board and fire the rest. That group school board member should have been expelled. So students can't read it in school, but you can't be part of the school board? Something doesn't seem quite right with that equation. The school board is disgusting. The rudeness is from the school board and whoever allowed for that trash material to sit on the library shelves there. And the terrible irony in this exchange is incredible. The board insists on the mother minding her speech, but she's reading verbatim from the book in question. Yet that very book is sitting in the school's library shelves. We have a serious problem beyond just plain old obscenity here. Their goal is that one day they won't have to worry about sexual abuse charges because they will not be illegal. If it's a family decision, then why is it out in the open for any child to read? Shouldn't it be back in the required permission from parents? Yes. That school board official has to be the one of the biggest hypocrites ever. She interrupted to say how inappropriate the speaker was from quoting from a foul book, yet won't agree that the foul book must be taken from the school library. There's students in this room, that's fine. This book's in your library. There's lots of comments here. But this is the thing that people don't understand. It's inappropriate. A 13-year-old can check out that book. A 14-year-old, a 15-year-old, a middle school or high school check out that book. Take it home. Read it in school. Read it at home. Parents would be concerned. Parents would be concerned the next day. And yet the board members are washing their hands and saying, we have it in our schools. You can't read at our board meeting. You read in our board meeting, you're out of here. Parents have the right to protect their kids. And I'm going to tell you something right now. If my 2-year-old nephew, I'm going to tell you, I'm an uncle. And I would do my best to be there for my nephew. That's the bottom line. I would be there for my nephew. But when I hear stories of something like this, it just gets underneath my skin that no one does a damn thing. But if my nephew were looking at that book and I found out that his school didn't do a damn thing, I would show it to my brother and my sister-in-law, and we would all march down to the board meeting with my nephew, and we would say, what the hell is wrong with you? Reading excerpts, and I would just tell them, hey, you can't read that, because then you'll probably get, then just be aware. I mean, just say beforehand, hey, I'm well aware, there's inappropriate stuff, and I'm aware this kid's in the room, this is in the third, blah, 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 and I'm sorry in advance. And you still apologize and say, they'll tell you, well, you can't read, we'll have you check it out, but you can't say it out loud in the school board meeting. Give me a break here. This mom deserves a badge. She deserves to be on a board member. Not. And 11-year-old sounds the school board and look at this. This story right here from an 11-year-old who shuts down the board meeting.
Online degree.
Hi, my name.
We're going to have that for you come up on Friday. This was from 2 years ago. 11-year-old boy reads pornographic smut from his school board library at a school board meeting. 3 million views. That story's coming up on Friday. That's all Visitation Game Break Wednesday. I'm John the Carmody. Sorry, that's all Visitation Game Break Wednesday. We'll see you again for Game Break Friday. I'm John the Carmody. Stop bullying, speak up. Concentration, not strength. No jaywalking. Good night. I'll see you Friday. Have a good night.